The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by us are ours and do not reflect those of our employers, customers, family, or friends. While we have conversations about various topics, any mentions of drugs, sex, religion, politics, and the like that offends anyone should be considered satire and for entertainment purposes only. And yes, we can get a little toxic. So if you're easily triggered, have unresolved trauma, can't take a joke, or don't enjoy adult conversations, you've been warned. Listener discretion is advised. We hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome to that 5 times for a reason. Welcome to season 5 of the BLC Pod. Pew, pew, pew,
Yeah.
pew.
Dylan.
5 times. You know what I'm
5 times.
saying? I mean, listen, man. There's some people who don't even make it to 4 times. You know what I'm saying? And here we are. 5 times. You know what I'm saying? We was about to be 5 times strong. We're going to still pray on that. But for right now, I got my people with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
S&M, Dell, Just Jay in the building. Before we introduce everybody, we got to remind everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Before we even got on, Jay was over here Twitter banging or TikTok banging with somebody in the comment section. So definitely engage with us in the comment section. But be careful though, because some of us shoot back. I'm just trying to let you know, okay? And we got merch, y'all. That's right, the BLC merch on deck, blcstore.com. Make sure y'all check that out. But like I said, man, I got my people with me. Got to start with the lady in the building. S&M, what's happening?
So I'm super excited to be in season 5, so I can't wait to get this conversation popping and let the folks get a little bit of better. What can I say? Get to know us a little bit better this season because we are coming off the hook and unchained. Well, at least I am for sure, but maybe not. Let me pull
Not
that
Django.
back.
You're not about to go Django.
Full Django.
You're going to see another side.
I see the type of time we are on. You know what I'm saying? S&M Unchained on deck. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Unchained or not even unhinged, nah, I'm just playing. My man Jay got the shades. Mr. I wear my sunglasses at night. What's happening, family?
Man, you know what? I used to watch 106 Apart and see it with the sunglasses on. And I was like, I always wanted to do that. And so in season 5 for the premiere, I'm like, why? What other time? Like to celebrate. That's why I'm dressed for the party because I brought the party with me, man. Life is good. I told y'all we've been grinding. We got great stuff happening. LS Confessions is out. LSConfessions.live. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Man, the Goodwood's behind me. You see that? Man, stuff is banging. The BLC Pod popping off season 5. This conversation about to be so hot. I almost cussed in the first few seconds. We would have lost all the money. Anyway, but I'm glad y'all are back and that we're here and that things are only going to get bigger and better forever. You know what I mean? I know y'all are doing amazing stuff too. And I'm so excited, man. I'm busting to talk about it.
Yes, and yes. Dell got what's that behind you, my man? Dell got is that a refrigerator? What is that behind you?
It is the latest humidor cigar storage. It's great. All the pros should definitely get one. Back here, everybody should grab one. Keep your stuff fresh, right humidity, right temperature. Life is good. Don't have your stuff dry and like you're smoking newspaper. It's not good for you. But everything is good, man. I survived Pisces season, made it through my birthday in one piece. I didn't have to, get the IV drip to rehydrate. So I was responsible for the most part, so now I'm just gearing up for Houston Cigar Week. You guys check that out. Get your tickets. And, we got some, background stuff popping, professionally in the works. And, me and Jay were talking earlier about doing some things. So, man, everything's good. I'm great to be here for my official season 1 start because I came in a little missed the season 4 premiere, but I'm here for season 5, episode 1. I did not bring my premiere glasses, but that's okay. So season 6, I will have my shades on. You guys mark this down. Season 6. Delvin's got the shades on. So I'm out. Yes, sir. Good to be here.
Yes.
I know I got to put you on.
Yes, and yes. Oh man, listen, I'm excited to be here with y'all. Even though I felt like I just saw y'all. wait, I did for the Prelude episode. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to check it out. Definitely check it out for real, for real. Of course, I'm excited to be with y'all for us to talk our talk. And as you see, man, I appreciate the love on the background. I didn't even know they had a such thing as a money tree. I mean, I've heard it in rap songs. I thought it was like metaphorical, right? But apparently we were going through IKEA and they had a money tree. So the wifey was like, hey, man, you know what? I'm like, there's a money tree? You know what I'm saying? You can water it? You know what I'm saying? So yes, I got the money tree back there. My son painted this picture right here. You know what I'm saying? I love him so much. I mean, like, oh my God. You know what I mean? I know every parent thinks this about their child, but come on, man. Some of our children really are that dope. Like, earlier he was playing the piano. I'm like, oh shit, is that a baby Mozart? Like, I was like, I gotta encourage this little nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, for as awesome as I am, if I'm being for real with y'all, for as awesome as I am, my parents only did but so much to get me here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
It wasn't like...
Is that your Mother's Day card or Father's Day card?
It wasn't like they poured into me is what I'm saying. It wasn't like they were encouraging me to try out for this, that they were available to take me to that. You know what I'm saying? I had to like kick and scratch my whole way up to this point, right? But I'm like, damn, now that I know that, I can pour that into him. So, hey, man, ain't gonna be no excuses. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention his daddy's great. So why would I not think my son is great? You know what I mean? Matter of fact, even better version of me. But anyway, that's his little art right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the wifey. Oh, right here. Oh, you can't. That's my J's. You know, I love Jordans and shit like that. Shout out to Jordans, fuck LeBron. And then, oh, you can't see this back here, but this is like this is just like a little collage of me. You know, S&M said that we want to show people a little bit more of ourselves. And so each of these things, little headphones right here, it represents my love of music and hearing and listening to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I love to listen to people. You know what I mean? So with that being said, appreciate y'all for tapping into season 5. We about to get live and have a great time. So woosah, buckle up. If you don't have a drink, go ahead and get one. You might need one before the show is over. You know what I'm saying? So what are we talking about first? Is it on me?
It is on
me, huh? Oh, man. Okay, so listen, y'all. And this is actually really personal to me. So I was in some stock plays. I do a little trading, a little option situation, you know what I'm saying? And for a lot of people in the stock market, it's been going down. But for some people, like, oh shit, right? Because it's a thing called puts, meaning that you're kind of happy that the market is going down anyways, right? So with this whole Trump tariff thing, he's just been having a market seesaw. Now, you know, it don't really hit you until it becomes personal, right? Because before, I'm like, man, fuck a tariff. You know what I'm saying? Shit go up, I got it. You know what I'm saying? $32 for some eggs, whatever. I'm just I mean, if you want an omelet. You know, it's funny because I low-key am not mad for what he's doing because sometimes you got to break a couple of eggs. You know what I'm saying? To make an omelet. You see what I did there?
See what you did there. I see that.
Him trying to shake things up. You know what I mean? But it seemed like people were scrambling because they felt like, you see what I'm doing? So
that's 2 of them. Yeah, go ahead.
You're doing excellent.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Dude, I ain't got nothing. Okay, we'll come back to that one.
We're going to be here all week.
But like I was saying, okay, excuse me. So the point is that, so if the market was going down, tariffs, he's going ham with China and everything like that. So honestly, I get it. A lot of people were feeling pain, concerned that their 401ks were being jeopardized. And honestly, y'all, just a little quick note, it doesn't really get jeopardized necessarily unless you pull out. You know what I'm saying? If you pull out of the position, right? If you just ride it out, because that's exactly what happened. I think midway through the week, Trump was like, hey, you know what? You guys should buy some stock today. It's a good day to buy some stocks. And then he turned around and reversed his whole tariff shit, which was terrible. I tried to make the connection. It didn't work that time. That's my bad. But anyways, it was terrible, right? And so the market just did a whole short squeeze. Anyways, the long story is Trump is fucking wilding and messing with people's money. So how do y'all feel about Trump wilding and messing with people's money?
Well, I mean, you kind of said it.
I'm all choked up.
I know, man. I know. When I talk about what Trump's doing to the economy, my gag reflex, you know what I'm saying? Wait, that didn't come out right either. Pause. Let me restart that. Something is getting penetrated, but it's not me. Anyway, So the average citizen here is really getting screwed, right? And they're getting screwed a couple of ways, right? They're getting screwed because somebody's pension was set to cash out so they can retire on that day, right? And then whoop, there goes Trump with an announcement of I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And he's gotta know, somebody in his group has gotta know that the markets are sensitive to his comments. Plus, the people in his circle also know what he's going to say before the public knows it, right? Like, I'm talking about, of course, people in his cabinet, right? Of course, like, maybe like the Republicans that he's good with, right? They would find out. And that seems like insider trading to me. It seems like the same thing Martha Stewart did. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe worse. He put it on his platform for, so basically, if you were in his pocket, right? If you were paying him a subscription, he gave you a little shout out about what was going on, right? And I'm about to reverse it. It's shady. Somebody should please call a man on the foolishness and the shade. You are ruining somebody got wrecked. Maybe not everybody, but some people did get wrecked because you're just announcing things that have no basis and reason or planning. You're wrecking markets. Somebody's getting rich. The people who know what you're going to say ahead of time. Yeah. They're selling and buying when it's low and everybody, somebody's making a killing. But whenever somebody's making a killing, somebody on the other side of the market is getting slaughtered. And that person who's getting slaughtered is probably living somewhere on Main Street. So I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. I'm going to stand up for Main Street America, okay? Say, please, Mr. Trump, stop playing with our economic futures, okay? Okay, for the sake of the children, okay? And their love of eggs. Okay, that's it. You're right.
Trump said, fuck them kids.
Can I
don't
say,
care about them.
Donald Trump does not care about black. No, okay, right.
No, don't do that.
It didn't work for Kanye either. Okay, I'm done before I get in trouble. Somebody help me, please.
So I'm just going to say that this was bogus to me. I think that for the most part, it was clear that it was definitely a plan to manipulate the market. And I agree. Martha Stewart should be like, hey, I need my regular sponge because I end up in jail time, house arrest. I was wearing, for the first time in my life, I had a little monitor on my phone, on my ankle, and this shit followed me, And so I think that if I was Martha and anybody else who engaged in insider trading, I'll be pulling the flag and getting mad about this stuff and saying, let me get my record sponge. But I also will note that all his insider buddies, for example, MGT, aka what did Jasmine Crockett say? Beach blonde, bad built. But anyways, I ain't gonna go that way because it's not that serious for me. But with that being said, they showed that like on April 6th, April 7th, how much money she spent buying certain things and moving her money around. And then she ended up making a killing when he brought the market back. And I'm sure she's not the only one who did this. And so, in the fact that he kind of hinted at it on Truth Social, I believe it was. And I think that at the end of the day, that we should be concerned about this. And if we're not concerned about this, and even if you were one of those people who benefited from this, there's millions of people who didn't benefit from this. And it's like at some point in time, we need to have some type of care for others, because at this point, I'm like, well, damn, where's our humanity? And, I understand the whole individualism. I even understand the fact that, hey, I haven't looked at my 401k because I'm scared. I was like, oh, Lord, whew. Oh, Lord, and so I've been avoiding it because I literally was like, I can't stand to see the gains, the losses. And so I said, this is all good, i.e. I won't look. But there are people who can't afford that because, like Jay said, there are people who's forced to retire, like in the federal government. There's also people who were scheduled to retirement and they were like, oh man, my pension is going to be this. And instead they lost like $40,000, $75,000. Now, did it rebound? I don't know what their investments were, but I think we should be concerned at this level of manipulation. And I think that at some point, there needs to be something that indicates that no one is above the law. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, I got to be a bit of a contrarian here. You know what? My bigger concern about insider trading is how many people own stock of Pfizer and Moderna and all that stuff before the vaccines came out. That's pretty convenient, So I think it's a bit of selective outrage. Like if you just Google like Nancy Pelosi stock trade, Like, she's probably one of the most egregious people who does this stuff. Like, even if you want to say Trump's doing it, then you can't ignore what she's doing. I mean, she's outperformed in 2024. I looked this up earlier. She outperformed every hedge fund in 2024. That is mathematically impossible. Like, we gotta stop this. Like, if that's insider trading. Now, I don't think anybody should be doing it. I don't even think Congress should really be allowed to own stocks, especially stocks that they have in companies they have oversight of, like Raytheon or Lockheed Martin, all that good stuff. But they all do it. I don't know if this necessarily fits the definition, but beating all the hedge fund managers in 2024 definitely does, because that shit's mathematically impossible. We got to call a thing a thing. That's how I see it.
My man, Delvin. Okay. First of all, Martha Stewart ain't got no motherfucking bone to pick. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? The fuck? She was doing some other little sneaky backdoor little type of shit. I mean, yeah, it was probably some bullshit. Trump listed on fucking Truth Social and whatever. He said, hey, today's a good day to buy stocks. Now, if your ass wasn't logged in to that message, that's your fault. That's not insider trading. That's outsider trading. This shit was put out there for people to consume. You know how I know? Because the market react. The people who were in the know took advantage, right? I get it. But there were some people who are not inside information trading who just understood that once that announcement was made, oh, he said buy some stocks. Yup. You know what I'm saying? It's not Trump's fault that y'all ain't paying attention to the markets like that, except to bemoan what your little fake paper money deposits look like. You know, that's not real, right? That's why I was saying at the top of the thing. Like, when you look at your deposits, it says minus 23,000, right? If you look at it today, it's very possible if you did nothing, 10 years from now, it might be like 10 times that. It might be that tomorrow, like we saw yesterday. The market went nuts. A lot of the gains that were lost was from one announcement, right? So once you kind of understand, relax just a little bit, right? I get it. It sucks, right? When you're not on the inside, it sucks. Listen, I've been an inside nigga a lot of my life, and I've seen people. I remember when I was in college, right? And, you know, I was in a fraternity, and we would do like this little line thing, right? And it was funny to watch all the people who are on the outside trying to look in, you know what I'm saying? They were like, oh my God, look at them doing their thing. I wish I knew what was going on in there. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're on the sidelines, all you can do is look and bemoan now. But the thing is, right, there's this thing called Robin Hood. So, okay, all jokes aside, I'm only partially kidding here. I get it, right? It is manipulative, but to Delvin's point, this has been happening. This is the game. To the winner goes the spoils. You know what I'm saying? I hate to tell y'all that, right? He pointed out Nancy Pelosi because he was making the distinction between Republicans and Democrats and those people of that level overall. I don't understand why even people believe that this insider trader thing is not a thing already. I mean, you think people are just that tight-lipped? Like, if I knew there was $1 million around the corner, and they're like, hey man, there's $1 million around the corner, you don't think I'm at least tell y'all, maybe? I guess I'll fuck with y'all for real, right? That's what this whole insider trading thing is, right? It's like, hey man, hey, you know what? Tomorrow's a good day to buy some stocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, Trump said that because he could. You know what I mean? Where? And this is speaking to somebody who was on the outside. I didn't make money. I lost money in all of this. You know what I thought when I lost money? Damn, I wish I was paying more attention. That's what I was thinking in the moment. Damn it, if I'm in the stock market, why aren't I paying attention to these things? Oh, I'm too busy working on other projects, right, to make my millions the old-fashioned way. But the point that I'm trying to make, man, I get the way. I think y'all can make some excellent points, but come on, man. I mean, the game is the game. You know what I'm saying? Hate
no,
the game.
Sir.
Don't hate the player.
I got one pushback. It's a very short pushback.
Hold on. I got you. Well, let's see. I got you. And I forgot this point. So, Jay, I feel like, and I'm glad you said something. I feel like people aren't giving any credence to whether or not the whole tariff ploy was actually a tactic, right? Because, for example, if what he says is true, in the next 90 days, if he somehow, I guess, renegotiates a bunch of different tariffs that I guess he could still come back here and tout that did help America in some way, shape, or form, are y'all niggas who I guess apparently don't believe that means shit, right, going to come back and say, hey, you know what? Because what happened was that he had the deadline. And then when the shit got to a certain point, he decided to withhold back except for China. This is chess, not checkers, right? So what I'm saying is, if it does, do you leave room for him using this as a legit tactic in order to get people to come back to the bargaining table? And if you do, then what do you say if it actually does work?
I
Or if you don't?
say no. I say it's theater, and it's theater for the uneducated or uninformed. And here's why. Because tariffs do make things more expensive, because tariffs are taxed on goods that are coming into the country. So that's whatever. But the real issue is this. Trump's main argument is that he's doing this to combat what he sees as trade imbalances, right? Trade deficits between us and other countries. You know why there's a trade imbalance or trade deficit? Because America stopped being an industrial or producing country a long time ago and became a predominantly consuming country, which means if you do more buying than you do selling, you're going to have a deficit. Right? If you don't want a deficit, you produce more. You don't just make it more expensive for people to buy what's already out there, particularly before you have the capacity in your country to meet the demand of what you're cutting off due to prices. And after an inflationary period where money is already tight. Yeah, no, I don't think it's good business. I don't think makes good sense. I don't think it's a good tactic. He brings him back to a negotiating table. It's a negotiating table that he set up to set up a treaty of an economic trade war that he started. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Sir, for solving the problem that you created that we wouldn't have had if you hadn't started poking the bear in the first place. Like, no, you don't get a pat on the back for putting out the fire that you started. No, thank you.
That's well. First of all, that's not what I said. Let's be clear.
Yeah, you said,
right?
is it possible it's a tactic that now he's just trying to bring it back to the table? And I'm saying the whole table is theater. Because that's not really America's problem.
Hold on, Jay. You clearly did not understand what I'm saying. So let me explain it to you, right? If I'm paying you $10 for X, and then I say, hey, you know what? Because you're paying me $10 for whatever reason, I do something to change the terms. And so now instead of me paying $10 for X, I'm paying $9 for X. And what it took was for me to have a strong negotiating stance, because I felt like the 10 that you was charging me, I literally just went through this recently in terms of signing a contract. In negotiations, you have to be willing to walk away. Now, you're talking about he created the situation, but his argument is that America's been getting fucked. His position was America's, regardless of whether, here's the thing, right? For me, I don't have to agree with the position to understand that a person can have a logical footing in the position, right? Meaning that I can disagree with it, but understand. So I'm trying to draw the scenario for you to say, because I don't think you understood what I asked you. What I said is that if he was able to come back after all this, because the truth is, when you talk about the losses, none of us sitting here are economically capable enough to talk about the losses are at this point in time, except for watching the stock market and the ticker and the conversation that we've heard, for the most part, right? These tariffs didn't necessarily go in, right? He was able to kind of pull back on them before they took effect and then gave another extension, right? So we're not talking, so then we'd have to compare the cost and the benefit analysis. So what I'm asking is if he somehow was able to come back and said, hey, I was able to take what I was paying $10 from before, now I'm paying $8. That's still a benefit. I'm talking about simple math to be able to say what I did equaled something that was better for America, right? And I'm saying if he's able to do that, what would you say to that then? That what? It just didn't happen? Something else happened? Because that's what happened when he did the whole North American trade thingy-mabobber he did before. When he came into the presidency the last time, I think under Bill Clinton, there was a North American Trade Act that was signed. He came in, shook shit up a little bit, got a new trade agreement signed between them, the two countries, and he was able to tout that there was improvements on behalf of America. So I'm going to ask one more again. Is it possible that he can legit have a tactic that he feels is going to lend to the benefit of America? Cool, you say no. But then what are you going to say then? Are you going to come back here and say, hey, man, you know what? I can't even be mad that he was doing something, because you're saying you can't even see it now. That's the question I'm asking you, bro.
I'm saying he is definitely doing something. He's doing theater. And I'm saying, and it's all theater. Yet, can he come back and say, oh, look, I got this thing that was costing you $10 down to $8? Yes, he can say that. And if he would go out and set a goal in the beginning and say, hey, look, this is what I'm going to achieve, then we can measure metrics. When you go, I'm going to make big deals, big changes, the biggest you've ever seen, and you set no metrics and you set no goals, then yeah, whatever you come back with looks like a win, because you never told people what to look for in the first place. You never really told them what a win looked like. You never really clearly defined the problem.
True. That's
It
not
is.
true.
And when he speaks on it, he doesn't even speak the truth. It is. Look, talk to an economist or somebody who studied economics. Ooh,
They're all talking about the potentiality of these tariffs going in place. Get that. But they have not gone in place. Have they, sir?
They have not gone into place.
Okay, cool. So what I'm saying is, up until this point, what are we talking about? It could still be viewed as a negotiating tactic, which is something akin to what he's done before. So I'm saying you can't even see. Okay, so cool. We could just leave it. But I'm saying
we can agree that I can't see.
Yeah, obviously, them glasses are a little too dark, right? Because clearly,
it's not the glasses.
With the North American Trade Act, excuse me if I'm butchering it, if there's a living example of him doing something similar, I don't understand, but we can move on.
How is the economy now better than it was before the North American Free Trade Agreement?
Say again?
How is the economy now better than it was before Mr. Trump came and did his magic negotiating skills on the NAFTA North American Free Trade Agreement?
I mean, come on,
is
bro.
it
That's
better?
A really detailed.
You used it as a proof of his effectiveness, right? But different conversations.
No, hold on. This came about because I asked you a simple question. To me, if you're wrong, just admit that you're wrong. You're not admitting that you're cool. I'm saying I was supposing that if he could come back with measurable results that it did something, then I would say, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I didn't see it. Then cool, he came back. You're even disposing that's even possible. So that's when I realized
everything does something.
Conversation, bro.
Everything does something. And how you spin it or lie about
Anybody could use that to make any argument, bro.
I'm saying it won't be positive. That's what I'm saying. It won't be positive.
Good conversation then.
Peg it. Save this episode. It won't be positive. I don't care how you spin it. I'll come back and point out how it's not positive. Save it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So,
come back. Go ahead, Zanelle.
I was going to say, so with that being said, we're going to put a mark on this and say, okay, let's going to see the benefits, because at the end of the day, we are in a position where we have to determine, and where proof is in the pudding, basically, at this point, and that's for all things that's presidential or not, let's be honest.
Can't even quantify what's the problem now.
And so...
One price has gone up, and y'all bitching right now.
Are you serious?
I just want to know this.
You're asking me for proof, and you can't even provide proof of what the fuck you're bitching about right now.
Check the consumer price index.
Where's the proof, sir?
Check the consumer price index.
Okay, so let me just say this though, right?
What y'all talking about?
So let me just say this in regards to the tariffs. One, I agree with Devin that the insider trading bit has been going on the Democrat and the Republican side, because otherwise, how the hell they all can be rich walking out with only $100,000 salary, and they're walking out with millions of dollars of value and so forth. So I do agree that it is an issue on both sides of the aisle. And so this is the one and only time you will find me doing that all lives matter shit. So with that being said, even though we recognize that the tariffs are being put in place, here's my question. My question is to LeBron James, and if those tariffs will affect his new Barbie that he has coming out, because most Barbies are, guess where they're made? Not here, that's for damn sure. So if the tariffs, particularly for China, are put in place, will that affect it? But let's talk about the larger picture. Hey, y'all, guess who got a Barbie? A Ken doll. Guess who got a Ken doll? That's right, LeBron James. He is the very first athlete. Now, I want to go ahead and put black in there as well, because we all recognize that is a cultural thing as well. Like, what is the significance of him being the very first male athlete to get his own Ken doll, and as well as him being a black male athlete? So what are your thoughts on this? Woo woo. Celebrate or not?
I just want to know, does it flop?
Most certainly.
does it flop? That's all I need to know.
At first, I was like, he's talking sales, but then kudos to you. That was I like that one.
Remains to be seen. I'm gonna wait for the Serena Williams doll, and then I'll be excited. Like, where's Mattel with that? You know what I mean? I like to see that doll. That sounded wrong. Actually, I sounded like I meant it. But anyway, so that's my take. I don't really care. I don't have a problem with it, bro. As a brand person, I think he's good brand. It's a good move for the doll company. You know what I'm saying? It's promoting black men as playthings for little kids. I don't know. Is that what they're trying to do? I don't know, but it's like a G.I. Joe, but a different way. So it's fine. You know what I mean? I think we're moving forward in some please accept us kind of sense. So that's cool. You know what I mean? I think LeBron had his own doll somewhere, And I don't know why nobody couldn't buy LeBron's version of himself. I'm sure somebody's got one somewhere. Is there not a black-owned company that could have made a LeBron doll and sold a LeBron doll? We couldn't have kept it in the community? We couldn't recycle them dollars a little more? I mean, I'm all for the Mattel thing, but how about get a company that he's working with and they're part of the Mattel contract? I'm just saying. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I would like to point out also that William the Refrigerator Perry had a G.I. Joe in 1985 for the 85.
See what I'm talking about? William Refrigerator Perry. The Perry. Fridge.
It ain't the same thing, man.
That was not a Barbie.
I mean,
what? He had the Super Bowl shuffle and a doll.
It ain't the same thing. This is a Barbie. I mean, Ken, look at what you got me doing, S&M.
Crossover.
Jay, lucky that I'm about to talk about LeBron, because whatever picks up whatever that I have, I'm about to take it out on LeBron.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
LeBron's like, what did I do?
Especially with that yeah. You said, what did LeBron do?
LeBron saying, what did I do?
LeBron has done a lot. First of all, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? What little white girl or black girl for that matter is like, ooh, I want to get my Aisha doll and then have her with the LeBron dolls. I'm like, what the fuck? The nigga married. Does he come with the Savannah doll too?
Nah,
the fuck is wrong with y'all?
No Savannah
right?
doll.
He in the Barbie dream house with the white and Barbies.
Hey, this is a hat.
Hey, right now this is a solo act, okay?
Please continue, sir. Sorry. Sorry for yelling.
I mean, normally I'm like Chris Paul with it, damn it. But I'm like MJ because the shit that Jay was just talking about, we gonna get back to that.
Come on.
But what I'm saying is, how the fuck does this make sense? Make it make sense. I mean, nigga, you chasing relevance that much, my guy? I could see maybe a G.I. Joe doll or something. Maybe you an action figure. It'd be the hardest that you've ever been in your professional life. Pause if necessary. This shit is actually off brand for LeBron. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think he's soft. We got the little satchel and the little outfit and the little shorts on, the little ball cap. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the nerve to step to Stephen A, knowing this shit was down the pike. Come on, man. And then to James' point, you went to fucking Pat McAfee, whatever the fuck his name show, and you got plenty of black doll makers. I mean, come on, man. He ain't like us for real, all that faking he be fucking doing behind closed doors. He's shucking and jiving too. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Really? A Barbie doll, bro? Tell me how it does. And you think you better than Michael Jordan, bro? Michael Jeffrey Jordan would never. You know what I'm saying? That's why you could never be the GOAT, bro. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. And miss me with the whole cultural resonance shit. Got me out here crying. You know who I'm crying for? Serena. Or at least you would make more fucking sense. You know, LeBron? Come on, man. Hell, you know what? They should have went for a Savannah doll. I would have bought that. These young girls need to see what being a wife of a supportive nigga look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. LeBron, yo, this shit is fucking nuts, bro. I don't know what you was thinking. All this, there are certain things that we don't have to be the first of. You know what I'm saying? There are certain, hey, you want to be the first? Nah, I'm good. Y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? The first black athlete, the first male. There's a reason why you the first nigga. The other niggas they went through said, nah, I'm good. You got it. Find somebody else. This nigga been misstepping, bro. No wonder the Lakers are not going to win the championship. You heard it here first. If they win the championship, I'm going to go out and get a LeBron jersey with some LeBron shoes, and I'm going to like cut my hair to where I'm going balls in the front a little bit, just like LeBron, and I'm going to come out here and apologize, Jay, because when you're wrong, that's what you do. You apologize. You say, you know, I was wrong. But until then, he ain't winning shit. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, last thing I would say is what they need to do is come out with another championship, LeBron, because maybe that's the only way he'll wear another ring.
So first, I believe this would be more legit if you bought the LeBron doll and the jersey versus the shoes. I think you should have it in the backdrop, pinned up there next to your son's painting, so we can see how wrong you were and apologetic if they win that championship. That's what I personally think you do. But you know what? It's your money, so you spend it how you want and you commit to how you want. I personally think it's kind of cute. I said, aw, He got a little doll. I love Barbies. I got Barbies in my closet right now because they're collectibles. And one day he's going to be a collectible too, as the first male Black athlete. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to go get me a LeBron doll because I don't think no other man will do this in the future. But maybe he's setting a trend. He likes to be a trendsetter. And while y'all clowning him, you know, he's actually active in the community with his schools and his donations and all that good stuff. So he's actually active in the community. So to me, this is just an extension of him trying to build his legacy, as in cement his legacy across a worldwide international stage, because Barbie sell everywhere. And so eventually people buy Ken dolls. I didn't have a Ken doll. I had nothing but Barbies, but maybe some little girl like, oh my God, there's a LeBron James Ken doll. Let me get that, you know. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to go out and buy it simply because I ain't never seen a Ken doll like this before. And I'm going to add it because one day it'll be a collectible, because I highly doubt if other men will follow suit. So they could have just made the regular Ken doll and put some basketball clothes on it. But it's all good because that's what they do with the Barbies. They just dress them up in different careers. So, but kudos to you, LeBron, because you got a Barbie.
I was gonna say, couldn't they say the same thing about Black women S&M? But go ahead, Jay. What you're about to say?
Let me try to follow that. So I was gonna say, look, put in the those of y'all, you know, as you're watching the show, put in the comments whether or not you think we should start a GoFundMe for the doll for Nick. You know what I mean? And Nick, you need a jersey too, right? If he's wrong for the championship.
You think the Lakers gonna win?
Yeah, right.
You think the Lakers gonna win?
If they win, I mean,
no, listen, I can spend that.
They're not
I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is.
But yeah,
I got
but
that.
yeah, if they do, y'all, you know, right down there,
with the jersey,
willing to pull together.
I'm gonna get the hair plugs. I'm gonna get the jersey and everything. I'm gonna get the powder before they start the show. I'm gonna do no.
You can't get the hair plugs. You gotta be Oberon. You can't get the hair plugs.
Okay, bad.
Yeah,
I got.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was my next question. Does the doll, is the hairline here or here?
That's why it comes with a ball cap, so you can't
optional.
tell.
It's a hat-fishing doll? That's crazy.
Catfishing.
You can take it off, and it's the old bra, or you can put it on.
Listen,
diabolical.
I'll tell you one thing. Is it Kenner? Is Kenner the company that's doing this S&M? I think it's Kenner, right? Does the Barbie
Mattel.
or Mattel? Or is it Mattel?
It's Mattel.
They clearly did not look up his shoe sales. Because when's the last time you looked around and was like, oh, that's some nice LeBrons he got on? Like nobody said ever. Okay,
The hate. The hate.
Listen, I actually have 2 pair of LeBrons. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably like, me and 3 other people supported his shoe campaign. That is,
I can't.
The hate. That's all I'm gonna say.
I
got your back, LeBron. I see you.
No,
we're gonna be rocking the Barbies.
Listen, one thing I will say is that LeBron loves the kids. And you know who else loves his kids? Apparently, rapper 600 Breezy. He apparently loves his kids, right? Because his baby moms, I believe her name is Jasmine Chavez. I don't know who she is or whatever. Honestly, if I'm being 100, I don't know who the fuck any of these people are. You know? It's like, why do y'all come on the internet and tell us all your business? Because apparently 600 Breezy, he just fucking spewed almost all his whole 600 load on the internet when he was complaining about, I guess apparently his ex wanting him to blow his load on her. But anyways, apparently he wants to see his children, and Jasmine is holding the kids away from him, which so many men complain about. I'm sure so many men can understand that, right? But the funny thing to me was like, hey, she wants to fuck, you know what I'm saying? She wanted me to come over there, you know what I'm saying? To, you know, so that I could see the kids, you know what I mean? So that was funny. The other thing was that he would tell on himself the entire time. Apparently he's from whatever city he's from. Hey, police, don't watch that video. If you want to find a criminal, do not. You know? No, yeah. But anywho, what are y'all thoughts about, I mean, the larger issue about women who are using their children to gain sex from their baby daddies? You know what I'm saying? How prevalent is this? Is this something that men need to now be concerned about? Are we now as men expected to just step up and drop off some peen just to see our kids? For real, for real? What are y'all thoughts on this, man?
I think it's been happening for a long time. It's been happening for a long time. I think it's an age-old problem. It's been happening for a long time. I think that men have suffered in silence. You know what I mean? Seen ourselves portrayed on movies, you know what I'm saying, on Tubi or whatever. in our situations, but not really giving the sincerity and the depth and consideration that the situation really requires. Because, you know what I mean? Those of us who have been in that situation, those men, I won't even say those of us, you know what I mean? Because I don't know what that particular lady's problem was. But anyway, so men in that situation, I think if you talk to them, you'd find that the problem is that the girl is nasty and she's trash. Now, I'm not saying that she's nasty as a person or that she's dirty. I'm just saying the punani is not good. It's not good. And if you really know how good you are as a person and you value yourself, you know what I mean? Then you don't want to set that example for your child by lowering yourself to punani that's beneath your standards. You know what I mean? Yes, it's how the kid got here, but you're doing better and you hope that he does better too. You know what I'm saying? So no, you don't go back. You deny her that deep because if she doesn't know how to act, she doesn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't even have to for free. You know what I mean? But since you are, and I'm talking to Breezy because I don't know him. I don't know what his situation is. I even know there was 599 other Breezys. So I'm blown by the whole situation, to be honest. But I'll make it short. Fellas, no, do not give in. Don't give in. We do not negotiate with terrorists. Read my lips. That's all I got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, of course, he didn't know the box was trash at the time, but now we know, so now it's being used as leverage. Guard your seed, kings. You know what? We men cannot be suffering through this sexual blackmail. This is it's a thing that's not reported enough because people are like, oh, you're just dropping off some peen. What's the problem? Go ahead and take one for the team. And we want our equality too. We do not want to be sexually coerced into dropping off peen just to see our children. We have feelings. We are fathers. We are brothers. We are kings too. And we matter and more than our peen. And we should not be used just to see our children. I think we need some respect here. I think it just needs to be a movement, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He should probably seek some legal counsel so he is not coerced into visiting her in the middle of the night. Hopefully when the kids are asleep so they don't see him creeping in there to drop off the delivery, and maybe he'll be there in the morning. But yeah, it's an epidemic, man. We got to deal with this. If you got good peen and your woman won't let go and she's using it to see your kids, dial it back a little bit. Give her some mediocre peen so that way she won't be trying to use your kids against you. Dial it back. It might be 10. Give her maybe like level 4 so that way she won't be super attached in case it don't work out. But that's my tip, how to get out of the situation for today. SM, what do you think?
Okay, so the strong urge to talk about the women's side, but I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight it and not do it. I'm going to stick to the man.
Give in.
And so I'm going to say this. First of all, for Jasmine, I believe that's what her name was. She need to get a grip because there's a lot of men, and I won't say a lot. There are some men. I'm gonna rephrase. There are some men who don't even want to be in their child's life. So I never understood when there's a man who wants to be in a child's life, who wants to be an active father. I never understood why some women now hold that fact as a hostage type situation with the kid. Because all they're doing is creating resentment later on in life from that kid when they find out, and then on top of that, it's going to make her look kind of grimy too. Like, yo, mom, I couldn't see Pops because I had to get some dick. Like, yo, what's up with that? And so I think that she's doing herself a disservice. And I also think that at the end of the day, he should just give it up. Go ahead, pop, drop, and lock it. And so until you reach a solution, i.e., go ahead and get some custody and get some visitation rights, and because it's okay for the guy to take the woman to court. And so now let me stop because that's wrong for me to say he should give it up. But with that being said, I'm just gonna say he must have some bum ass peen because she over here willing to do all this to include stopping her child. And usually though is because the guy broke the relationship off, to be honest, and they still want the relationship itself. So she's assuming that by him constantly being around or giving her the ding-a-ling-a-ling, that it will bring his feelings back to her. So she's also using the child as a way to possibly rekindle the relationship that he no longer wants. What I will say too is, 600 Breezy, why are you snitching on yourself? Like, this woman got you so frustrated. You telling all your business. You letting the popos know. Don't you know YSG was just on trial because they were saying some stuff? But anyways, with that being said,
Marcel?
yeah,
Why
you know
Oh,
who I
yeah.
meant.
He's only a couple
Y'all-
letters away.
yeah, my fault. I was trying to think of who it was.
Just
My
I'm so
fault.
proud of you. I'm proud of you, though. You got 2
Yeah.
letters. 2 out of
She
3 is
won.
not bad.
I was trying
Right.
to think of what they were
You
called,
did your
like the
thing.
full name. But anyways, with that being said, there's even comedians that talk about like Key and Peele when they did a whole skit about niggas snitching on themselves. So my question is, why are you snitching on yourself? Why are you expressing your frustration? We didn't even know that you doing all this stuff. I was gonna say what you was doing, but I don't want to help because I don't know nothing about nothing. So with that being said, Jasmine, get a grip. Let this man see his child. If you really want to see your child, though, Breezy, go ahead and take her to court. It's okay for you to do so. It don't make you a punk just because you taking her to court. It just shows that you really value your rights as a father. So hook that up. Jasmine, once again, get a grip. That's my 2 cents.
I
Can
just
I
want
ask
to.
y'all a question? This might be... Go ahead, Jay.
I just want to throw in one last thing. That the one more reason why he wouldn't do it, it's entrapment. Right? Let's say condom break or whatever. She get another baby. He'll do this all over again, twice over. She can't be trusted. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's a good point. That's a really, really good point. I was trying to remember, damn it, man, I lost my train of thought because I was going to say something in regards to, what was the last thing you said, S&M? God damn it, it was a good one too. I was going to have fun with. Oh, I remember. Okay, so self-cleaning ovens. Self-cleaning ovens, yes. Okay. Yeah. I heard that like vaginas are like self-cleaning oven. Is that true?
So I will say this on your random ass question that seemed oddly placed. I will say that I would, yes, in short,
right,
yes.
Yeah. So let me make the correlation here.
Yes, please, sir. Please do that.
I realize that it doesn't make sense that a lot of these young brothers out here who are gang banging are telling on themselves, right? It doesn't make sense to us because we're thinking you want to get away with it, right? But then I started thinking to myself, like, why would we want them to get away with it, right? It's like, if you're going to tell on yourself and make it easier for the police to catch you and make us law-abiding citizens feel much safer, why am I going to be mad at these niggas telling on themselves? Because to me, that would be like a self-cleaning oven. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
What the hell that got to do with the JJ? How?
Because sometimes we gotta be okay with things taking care of themselves. So, anyways, when you watch it, you'll tap in and get the point.
I think you just called everybody who felt a certain way a coochie, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna run it back myself. I think you just called everybody who felt a certain way a pussy, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna run it back and watch it on my own time.
I wish that was... Wow, that would have been some kung fu shit. That would have been...
Okay, cool. Watch it again.
Wow. I'm on one tonight.
You own one. They're like self-cleaning ovens, which are also like vaginas. So A equals B and B equals C.
And then throw in Darwin theory and shit, like survival of the fittest. You snitching and you ain't survival of the fittest there.
It might be the class.
There you exactly. I'm saying like there's a rhythm to things. It may not make sense to us because we're thinking, why would you tell on yourself? But there are some mechanisms that it cleans itself out because of the greater good for everything around it, right? Just like a vagina and a woman, just like with these guys in crime. So, right? And apparently vagina and crime go together because that seems to be Breezy's problem, right? He got crime on his mind and he hits a vagina. Wow.
You did that. You put it together,
right?
No, I disagree.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I can see why Breezy's having the problem that he's having now. Thank you, SNL, for that example. It's like a brother just trying to do his thing, and here goes this woman over here trying to make it hard, and not in a good way. So what I was going to say was, for Breezy, what I'm saying is that first of all, on all seriousness, I hear guys complain about fighting for their kids all the goddamn time. The amount of money they have to spend to fight for their kids, $5,000, $10,000, the lawyer time and all the other kind of stuff. And you mean to tell me the only thing separating you from your motherfucking kids is some peen? I get it. It's not fair, right? I get it. But I'm being practical here. If I want to see my fucking kids, I'm going to go over there and drop off some dick. Okay? Simple and plain. Either that or go Jay's route and try to get a lawyer to get my situation. But guess what? He ain't going to do that. Guess what? He probably can't do that. right? Maybe you got some felonies. Hey, man, no judgment, bro. But you put yourself in a situation where you got to see your leverage yourself, right? It is what it is. Niggas be boohoo crying about shit they can't change, right? So you got to look at your situation and make the best decision for you and your kids. And unfortunately, if she has leverage, like your children, because you still care, God bless you for that, right? If she's using it, either you talk her down, hook her up with one of your homeboys, figure out a way to get her off your team. But until then, if you want to see your kids, you might have to drop off some dick. You already dropped off some dick. You know what I'm saying? If nothing else, take responsibility for dropping off the dick the first time. It sucks, man. Life sucks. You shouldn't have fucked her, but you did. And if you want to see your kids, guess what? You might have to fuck her again. Either that or go get your kids, bro. There's nothing else that we can do and or tell you. And guess what? That's the same thing about the internet. All that shit you did on the internet, none of us can do anything to change your situation. All we get to do is laugh low-key. Not at you, my brother, because we support you for real, black man. But I'm saying, like, overall, some of the other people in the comment sections, you know what I'm saying, just not on this show. We don't want no smoke. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know what I'm saying, because we law abiding citizens around here, you know what I'm saying, we have a little better peen control. But the point is, at this point, man, listen, think of it like a chopper. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't let that chopper loose in the hood, nigga. Let that peen loose. Pause. You know what I'm saying? But to Jay's point, be careful. All right. Sidebar, for all the men out there, man, we do understand and empathize with struggling with wanting to see your kids. And for the women who are doing that, like S&M said, it's totally fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because truthfully, regardless how the kid gets there, we would hope that both of y'all at least start to think about what's best for that kid. But what it makes you realize is that honestly, some people probably shouldn't be parents. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not a part of you as a parent that realizes, oh, wait, I should put this child before me on some fucking level. You start to wonder who really is the deadbeat, whether or not the person stays in the home or who's not in the home. You dig what I'm saying? But that's all I got on it. That's all I got.
So, Devin, did you want to jump in real quick?
Yeah, fun little factoid about snitching. I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in, I think that was 2022, I believe it was, California actually signed a bill, Governor Newsom, to limit the use of rap lyrics in court, without judicial review. So the snitching is a problem, at least in California anyway. They're addressing the snitching. The snitches need protection because they are telling on themselves.
Yeah. Well, I would just note that this was not in a rap, although the way he was ranting might as well would have been in something, but it was not in a rap. So I think it's going to be fully admissible. But the toxic side of me, the little toxic, and if you want to check that merch out, we do got a toxic line. So with that being said, the toxic side of me want to be like this. Choose better, sir. Choose better. Because
solid advice.
You know what I'm saying? You just like Nick said, you pick that woman and you drop that. And you shot up the club and you didn't even bother to put protection on. So with that being said, as you tell us, choose better. Choose better. And continue on with this whole toxicity, aka toxic. Let's go ahead and hit this next story up, which I'm super excited about. So there is, and believe me, I'm just super excited because this was funny as hell. So there is a new list. Yes, an updated list of men who should not date. And I'm going to read some of so it's a total of 29, but I just want to read like 7 of them off the top that I thought was hilarious. But I'm also going to read a couple that was matter of fact. So let's start with the matter of fact ones, which I think should be pretty low-key simple. Men with toddlers or younger. Men that live with their mama. Men that live with their baby mama. DL men. I definitely support that one. But anyways, now let's get to the fun parts. Men that bank with Cash App and Cash App only. Men that sag their pants. Men that, here it is, that ask women, can I hold a couple dollars? You got some dollars? I need a couple dollars to hold. Those men, men that put their clothes in tubs. Now, is it bathtubs or plastic tubs? I don't know. It's just a tub. And so if you guys haven't had an opportunity to check this list out, go ahead and check this list out because another one that I like, and I think Nick, who be throwing mad shade on Joy Reid, men who basically wear wigs. But let's go ahead and say what it actually states here. It states that men, that hairline is gone, but they still try to keep avoiding it, masking it, all that good stuff. So, them lace fronts looking good on you, men. Sometimes I can't even tell it's a lace front, So those are just some of the ones that I thought was most important. Oh, here's another one that's really good. And I say this because I don't like the cowgirls, but men who are Cowboys fans, I think that's a valid point there. And I view that in the same line of Redskin fans. I ain't gonna lie. But anyways, with that being said, I would love to get the men thoughts on this new list.
Which one would you say would be the most egregious? What is the worst? Which one of these 29 are the worst offender in your opinion?
So, the ones that are legitimate, such as the ones about the DL men, like, first of all, in this day and age, you can go ahead and say, I'm bi. You can go ahead and say, I like a little peen in my backside. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead and let folks know that you okay with swinging. But anyways, with that being said, I think they're technically the worst because in this day and age, you don't have to hide it. And then they have a tendency, if they're DL, they'll go ahead and unalive you simply because you found out accidentally. So I would just say I think that's technically the worst, but that's more on the serious tip. In regards to the silly stuff, like men that don't own a suit, right? Like not everybody need a suit. It'd be nice to have, but it's not necessary. Or, but anyways, so I don't know. It depends. As a matter of fact, I would like to hear which one you guys think are more valid or not valid. Which ones you say, hey, keep and the rest toss out. So I would love to hear that.
All right.
What do you think, Jay?
The only one I think maybe gets some defense, right? That I can probably defend. I mean, they all have reason. All right. We all have exceptions. Like, I think that one was like men who like stay at the Motel 6, right? That's where his spot is or something. I'm like, honestly, I would tell my daughter, no, you're not going to date one who lives at the Motel 6. Let one get his own place. One's working through some things. Let one get, you know what I'm saying? Let him get an address that he can receive mail at. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And it's not judgment or sarcasm. It's just let one progress, whoever one may be. O-N-E. That's not racist. Y'all so racist. Anyway, so my point though is the guy with the tub, I think he was okay. The guy with the toddler, yeah, he's too busy. Some of those made sense. The dude living with his mama, you know what I mean? No judgment, but you live with your mama, you busy, like having a toddler. I'm making this worse. I ain't gonna have no people watching me after this. Let me pass to Devin. Devin, save me, man. You know what I'm trying to say.
For me, the most egregious offender on this list are the grand rising niggas. They must have to be stopped. The Good Morning Queen, grand rising. Those niggas are a menace. They're full of shit. I have it out for them. They know it. They're my mortal enemies. So I nominate the grand rising queen niggas as the most egregious offender of who should not be dating. Yeah, the motel and that's up there. I definitely wouldn't want my daughter dating a guy at a motel, man. So.
But Devin, let me ask you a quick question in regards to the Grand Rising. So you basically shaming the hotels? Is that what's happening here? I just want to get some clarity because Dr. Umar is a hotel.
The hoteps are generally full of shit. They're covering up. The hotepness is usually a cope for something else they're trying to cover up. They're usually covering up some type of egregious fuck nigga behavior, typically. So that's why I got it in for the Grand Rising. Just own your debauchery, man. It's okay. Just live out loud. Like you said earlier, we can just be out. We can do everything. Just call. Live your truth. I mean, that's what we're talking about now, right?
So just to make sure I made the connection. So you basically saying that Dr. Umar is engaged in some debauchery and some fuckery.
Oh, yeah. He likes strip. So it's okay. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I like him too. It's fine.
Yeah, you trying to get in this. He's trying to bait you on some Dr. Umar shit. I mean, listen, you gotta bait Delvin. If you want to shoot at Dr. Umar, he'll shoot at Dr. Umar. We ain't got no fear here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, Delvin, she's trying to play you, bro. Like, trying to set you up. Like, you don't know what
I'm answering everything in the affirmative. The Grand Rising niggas,
he said what he said. I said, don't get off of him.
And I just wanted to make the connection to make sure it was solidified.
Yes, him too.
That's all I was checking.
But he don't like it. Come on the show.
But I don't understand why. Listen, man, as a man, I abhor, poo-pooing on another nigga's game. Okay, like I get it, I feel you, but if it's working for him, the good morning text, the what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not mad, because if he's talking to an earthy shorty, like that shit might work for her. Okay, so I get it. Now, to me, these lists overall, because I think you guys talked about most of the different ones, right? Like, to me, these lists are interesting because what it does is it mixes in some good situations that make sense, but with some that are like fucking ridiculous. And the problem is that some people will run with some of the ridiculous too, you know what I'm saying, at the same time. I guess and then mentioned, for example, like, hey, Grand Rising Men, right? I get it. It's a trope now. It's funny. But if that brother is out there going to 7 Under and buying shea butter and eating herbal roots and shit like that, that's the type of time that he's on. And he's authentically on that type of time, eating mango rinds and fucking watermelons. I don't know, whatever the fuck they be doing, right? And he on that type of time, you know what I'm saying? Like, now if he ain't rocking no shea butter, you know what I'm saying? If he ain't doing none of that shit, he ain't got no beeswax, no dreadlock, nothing. He's talking about Grand Rising. Okay, he's a phony. Okay, and yes, we should watch out for him. But here's what I don't understand though. And maybe men, okay, this is a list of men that women shouldn't date. I just want to make sure. Because I think when you first said the S&M, I'm like, are these men that should not date, or these are men that women should not want to date? I just wanted to make sure I was understanding.
They're saying that these are men who have no business dating, is the way it's phrased.
Okay, cool. I'm so glad you said that. Okay, thank you for that clarity, because I thought that's fucking ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, like, men with toddlers. I mean, if he ain't the primary guardian, which a lot of men aren't, what the fuck does that mean? He shouldn't date. He shouldn't be wanting love because he had a kid who might be under the age of 4. Some of y'all bitches be moving on to new relationships after a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And you said, this man, if the last time he hooked up with shorties when they had the baby, and it's 4 years ago, he shouldn't be outside trying to find somebody else, especially if he's responsible, right? Like, same thing with the Grand Rising Men. Some of y'all bitches wouldn't get no goddamn text message from nobody if it wasn't for some of these niggas. You know what I'm saying, Delvin? You claim to care about these women. Well, guess what? Their shit would be dry if it was not for some of these brothers. You want them to feast or famine, my nigga? Right? What are you doing, texters? Some of y'all bitches don't have good conversation, right? We're trying to keep the connection going, right? And you're not really giving out enough for us to really peel from. Cool. So the bare minimum is what the fuck you get. Because you deserve the bare minimum. What does that have to do with me not being able to date? I shouldn't date. If some of these things y'all applied to some of y'all, then most of y'all would not be able to date either. But since both of y'all are in the same boat, y'all really should be dating each other, which is the stupid shit about some of these fucking lists, because somehow y'all think y'all excluded from some of this shit and look past each other for real, but y'all all in the same fucking boat, man. You know what I'm saying? Pants sagging and titty sagging. It's all the same thing, man. What are y'all talking about? Last thing I'm going to say on this, because the one thing that people talk about men should date is when it comes to money. And I'm confounded, right? And this is why I'm confounded, because if we sit here and we say it makes sense for people to come together financially, that things like marriage and relationships are great tools to build wealth, then a man who may not have wealth yet, is he not supposed to be able to find his queen that they can build wealth with together? What threshold do you have from him being able to date? Not everybody needs Ruth's Chris in order to enjoy themselves and get to know one another. So missing me with some of this conversation in regards to, it's going to have a certain amount of money. Yes, he got to be responsible to take care of himself. The end. And the same thing, hopefully, for her. But I forget, women get to be bums and still go outside as if they got their own shit together for real, right? So in other words, man, stop the cap. You know what I'm saying? Stop the bullshit. Okay? Start looking at each other for real, because both of y'all can ride the bus together, as opposed to by yourselves. Fuck out of here, this fucking list.
So I would just say this. One, the women who are independent get a lot of flack anyways, which brings me to the ones that I actually do agree with on this list, such as the men with multiple kids and baby mamas. Control your seat, sir, and pick a baby mama to marry. You know what I'm saying? Or at the minimum, control your seed. Stop creating dysfunctional homes and family. I also agree with the one that said men that bash women on social media on a constant basis. Because, sir, you don't got nothing else better to do but to come on social media and bash women. There's no community service that you could do to uplift your community. Is there no conversations that or men group that you have to talk to other men about concerns within the community? Or better yet, how about learn some financial literacy if you don't have it, or get a mentor or be a mentor? So what's the big deal about bashing women on social media?
It's not bashing women. This
Well,
is their way. You know, y'all remember how like LeBron and D Wade and I think it was like two other basketball players, they showed up to a basketball game and they all wore the Trayvon Martin shirt. Remember that?
mm-hmm.
That's what this is. Right? Like nowadays, the bar for activism is not very high. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people feel like by coming on social, they're helping to let women know some of the areas for which they can improve upon, and y'all are not receiving it. And so instead of looking at it as like constructive criticism, some of y'all are looking at it as bashing. So I just want to differentiate between the guys who are actively and lovingly trying to provide y'all with some
Nick's like,
constructive
that's me.
criticism versus the people who are outright bashing women. But go ahead.
So with that being said, constructive criticism, I can understand, but some men are going with the purpose of bashing, you know what I'm saying, to be derogatory, and especially when they uplift another race in the process of doing so. And so I support that one as well. And then the one that I thought was funny because I didn't know this existed. And then I guess this is part of my circle, because it's not in my circle, so I wouldn't know this. But men that have to load their card to add money. And at first I was like, what type of card they loading? Because I was dumb. I'm like, is this like laundry card or what the hell they load? But it's those debit cards that they have to add money
Rush cards.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. But at the end
Get your
of the
bougie bag. Get your elitism bag. Well, you have a bank account.
I was like, I support that shit. You ain't got no goddamn bank account. You not
But if you got
stable.
money
You
in
don't got
it,
no credit union. But it makes me suspicious, because now I'm like, what's the reason why you only upload your card? And I understand that if you're just starting off or whatever, or even if you had a setback in life. But at the same time, I think some of these on this list, while they do seem arbitrary, actually indicates if a person is stable, right? And if we want women to be independent or interdependent and have stability, then why can't we expect that from the man as well? Like, why can't we expect some stability? And some of these are indicators that they lack stability. And just like with women, when they make bad choices, some of these are indicators that they're not great decision makers. So therefore, they're by default, we can assume they're not great leaders too. So that's where I'm going to say.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, right? So are only good leaders deserving of love? Are only people who are responsible deserving of love? Are people who've only made good decisions up to this point in time? Like, for example, you mentioned the men with multiple kids and baby moms, right? So granted, I get, that's why I had to ask that question from before. I get if you're saying from a woman's perspective, if a man has multiple baby mamas and multiple kids, I get that for that woman, that could be a red flag. But if we're saying that man should not be able to date, why? Right? So are the only people who should be able to date are the ones with good credit? Because as I'm thinking about it, the more and more I think about it, I don't even know how we would even be able to fix our mouths to tell people they shouldn't date for real. I know it's all funny, jokey, but yeah, go ahead, Jay. If you can help me grasp that, because I'm like,
it's economics.
Men living with their mamas don't deserve.
Dating is expensive. Dating is expensive. Dating is discretionary. What do you mean? Every time you leave your house, it costs something.
So where's the bar for expensive? $20 is expensive for a date?
It depends. If you're living if you are living at a level of income where you do not have a lot of enough disposable income to get your own lodging or transportation or whatever, then perhaps you should not be dating. You should be spending that money on something else. That's all I'm saying.
So you said expensive, and I was trying to define expensive.
Expensive is relative.
Which is why I was trying to pin it down, right? And I think a lot of people would say you can date creatively without having to spend a lot of money. So if your argument is the money tip, I'm telling you that you can literally spend a date walking through the fucking park, grabbing again, it depends on the woman being amenable, it depends on how attractive you are, whatever. Delvin talks about this all the time. There are some guys who probably can't pull off some bullshit. So if the so again, on the basis of what are you saying that some of these men should not date?
So, go ahead, Jay.
I'm just saying, simply put, and this is not classist, this ain't elitist, this ain't none of that. It's just math. I'm not saying it's just math. I'm saying if you are not in a position where you can move your program as a man forward and what you want to do, then dating is not the best use of your time and money right then, right? Because the person you're picking up wants you to lavish on them. So unless you got lavish resources, don't get into the place where they want you to lavish. Don't go to the strip club when you only got change. Same principle. Exactly same principle. And please don't get a lap dance. That's like getting, I don't even know. It's like taking a relationship serious, like being exclusive now, beyond dating. That's your lap dance. Don't do that, bro. You got change. Go back. Get your pockets up. Come back another night. That's all I'm saying.
All women do not want to be showered like that, Jay. That's cap.
So I was going to say that technically I was rocking with you until you added the lavish part, because I believe that you should date within your tax brackets in particular. And so if we're both poor, so to speak, or we both don't have the means, then yeah, let's come up together. But if you're dating outside your tax bracket, then that's when it becomes an issue to me. So for example, if you don't have transportation as a guy and I have transportation as a woman, first of all, I'm not fucking with you because you don't got no transportation. This does not compute to me. And so because my question is, why don't you have transportation? And if you don't have transportation, is there a plan to eventually get transportation? Or if you're relying on, let's say you live in the DC area and the metro is the bomb, right? The metro runs to like 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Then it's like, oh, okay, well, if that's your primary transportation because you're using your money elsewhere to do other things that's more beneficial to you, cool. Right. So I would need to know like the whole premise of why don't you have transportation? But I do believe that that's because you should date within your tax bracket. So if you're a college student, date a college student or date someone similar. You know what I'm saying? If you work at McDonald's, why the hell are you talking down to somebody else who work at McDonald's? You know, give that person a shot. Y'all both flipping burgers. And even if you do want to date up, it's just, to me, I think there's what they're saying. And I can say for myself personally, that the way I interpret it is that should not be in the business of dating. I'm assuming they're saying now, right? That they shouldn't be in the business of dating now. That's the way I was interpreting it, until they become responsible. And then by all means, go ahead and knock yourself out. Hit the ballpark.
See, this is the bullshit that I'm talking about, right? This is the bullshit. Because notice how S&M, and I'm not saying what you're saying is bullshit, but I think overall this conversation is bullshit, right? Because it supposes that who created this list? Who was the authors of this list? Was it men? Was it a group of men who came together on this list? Or is it proposed or supposed it's a group of women who came up with this list?
So supposedly it's a group of women who came up with this list.
Got it. Perfect. So what you just did is an example of what I think that they did, which is looked at it from their perspective and projected. Yes, as a woman, if you met a guy who did not have a car and you happen to have a car, these are your words, right? Then yeah, maybe it makes sense that guy should not date you. Right? Which is why I asked if we're talking about a list that women should look out for, should not date. Maybe it's a different conversation. It's a different conversation for the guy who's using public transportation. If that guy is getting to work using the bus, there are certain cities that maybe a car is not required, but let's move that to a side. If that guy is working his job and he's making a career, he lives down the way, he's able to take Uber. Uber exists nowadays, y'all. There are some places it make more sense to cop Ubers, right? So because he ain't got a car, he should not date, but yeah, he's paying. So I'm saying if a man at least meets the bare minimum, right? And I was going to say the bare minimum of living on his own, right? But I'm even going to attack the whole living with their mama situation, right? Because what it doesn't say is the circumstances upon which his mom is living with him, to a certain extent, because it doesn't take into account his finances or his situation. So again, people are making some of these judgments, and I get it on the surface of it, but that man who decides to take his mom in because maybe financially made the most sense for him because he's the only person responsible for taking care of her to a certain extent, so he should not date. He does not deserve to find somebody because he don't make enough or he ain't living up to the standards that you think he should be living to. I'm saying I know it's a funny thing, so sorry if I'm taking a serious term, but I'm saying that I hear people all the time telling men, oh, because of this, and this also goes for women too, like just in general, do what the fuck you gonna do. But what I'm saying is that this idea that you get to tell him why he shouldn't do something when I fundamentally believe that people need love in their lives. They don't just need money. They need companionship. They need love. Right? And as a person who also believes in marriage enough, I want to encourage two broke people to date each other and find each other so that maybe they can lift their broke asses out of poverty. You know what I'm saying? So fundamentally, that's where it starts. Again, I'm saying I get if there's things on this list that women are like, nah, I ain't with it. And I get some of it is funny. But even the ones that probably would all say, yeah, maybe he shouldn't if you're like a big bro trying to advise him. But guess what, Jay? Not everybody wants to be a boss, bro. Not everybody wants to ascribe. We live in a culture now where we expect everybody to want to be what we want them to be, some kind of boss. Some people are okay with being mediocre. I appreciate those people more than the people who pretend they're more than mediocre when they clearly are not. You know what I'm saying? So leave those brothers alone if they want to be mediocre, but who the hell are we to tell them they shouldn't date and find love and get some pussy?
Okay, so first, I just want to point out, I saw what you did with the whole living with their mama and change it to where his mama is now living with him. And so I saw the wordplay that you did there because there is clearly a difference between the mother taking their son in. But I do agree that it should be the circumstances that you should find us, like, for example, they're coming back from a divorce, or if there's some type of so I think that's why I talked about even with the transportation, find out what his plan is. Like, why, like I even use DC with the fact that the metro exists and so forth, and people have no problem taking that, like, so he may be taking the metro because there are other things that he has on his agenda that he's meeting to do, and therefore the metro satisfy his requirements. So I did say that you need to identify or find out what their needs are. But most importantly, like I said, at the end of the day, tax brackets, date within your tax bracket, date within your means. I've never said they don't need love, but I just want to point out, sir, I saw what you did with that, with the mama situation.
Listen, I'm caught black-handed. I can admit what I'm caught. You got me? Okay, but listen, even, you got me, but even in the situation, right, because rent is high nowadays, right? So if he's still paying his mama some decent rent because he got the little basement downstairs, he's living with his mama. I'm just saying, like, S&M, you're wise. You know what I'm saying? You know stuff. You move differently. But I promise you, like, I get some of these tropes, man, but people will take some of the stuff and run with it. You dig what I'm saying? But in terms of from their perspective, and I ain't mad at that, but let's not tell these dudes that they can't go out here and date. Some of them will only lift themselves up out of this situation by getting them another woman. Go ahead, Jay.
I want to throw some more shade. Sorry, Jay. I just want one more thing before you go, Jay. Just one last thing. Sir, weren't you the same one that said broke niggas shouldn't date?
No, I don't think I've ever taken that position. You'd have to pull up the video on that one, sister girl. You'd have to pull up the video on that one. I mean, I'd have to see it. Because listen, we've been on Clubhouse long enough, right? And honestly, for me, I just don't. I have this thing where it feels like it's punching down, because people who are better positioned have the audacity to try to tell somebody else. If we were people with multiple baby mamas and shit like that, or whatever the situation may be, we would not say that that's a thing we should not date if that was a situation that we were in. So it just makes it easier for us to judge. And honestly, I don't mean a lot of these fucking I got a toddler and bitches will still date me.
But you got a wife though.
I mean, but that's not the point, though, if we're talking about just who shouldn't date. I don't see on this list. Men with wives.
That's funny.
No. Men with wives are free game.
Men with wives on this list?
Let me look and make sure. And then, I'm sorry, I know I interrupt you. Go ahead.
Nah, that was it. I'm just saying. Look at that.
Let me look and see if they on the
list. Look at God.
Look hard, girl.
But go ahead, Jay.
I'm saying I don't think the list is in and of itself anything that should be used to eliminate somebody from dating. What I do think is, though, whoever was making the list was looking towards signs that the person might not be either financially stable or forwardly progressing in their life and their plan, right? Some signs of things that one by themselves can be explained. Maybe you got 4 or 5 things in the list. It might demonstrate a tendency or a lean or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this guy's bad with money, or maybe this guy's not good with commitment, or maybe he has dependency issues or whatever. Maybe he and his mama too close. Maybe he a mama's boy. It could be a lot of different things, right? So I don't believe in Xing anybody out for any one thing. However, I do think that you can take a number of things and paint a picture. So all I was stressing is that, just watch for the picture. That's all I'm saying.
And married men is number 27 on the list.
Oh, it is on there?
Oh,
yes,
shit.
sir.
Yeah, we
number
are
27.
Okay.
That was married men. That was married men. That's Robin Hood. That's not us. That's
but see, I got an issue with that too. I mean, for the sake of sound, a certain type of way. Huh? Who says married men shouldn't date?
Yes, who says?
You don't know what the fuck that nigga got going on in this household.
No,
you know what
you don't know me.
Matter of fact, why are these women mind their own fucking business? You know what I'm saying? I bet you the women who wrote this list don't even got nobody they dating right now talking about who men shouldn't date. You know what I'm saying? And they want to complain when there's no men to date. Come on, man. Y'all got to stop playing.
Well, I must admit, I'm looking forward, and I'll land with this. I'm looking forward to seeing what the men retaliate with, because the men are pretty good with retaliating with their own list that sometimes could be just as stupid as some of the things that are on the women's list too, right? It's a good mix. So I'm looking forward to see what that is. But anyways, that's all I got for this.
You literally could change all the lists and make it say women, and it'd still be a list. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, honestly,
like, let me hold $2. No. Go ahead.
As I was going through this, I mean, we could probably come up with last little question, right? Let's play this little game. What would be something that we would throw out there? Can everybody think of one thing if we were to reverse the list? What's women who shouldn't date? Like, I'll go first. Pregnant women. Pregnant women should not date.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a shot with Cardi B.
No, I mean, listen, no shots. I'm just throwing out as an example. It doesn't mean I really feel this way. I'm asking you.
Women who expect a call.
Pregnant women should not date.
Women who expect regularly scheduled calls from correctional institutions should not date. If it's not a family member, you know what I mean? Like, you got a boo and he incarcerated, you should not be dating, right? If he's calling you regular, Tuesday is his day to call.
Inmate 57312. Do you accept the call?
Don't do it. You shouldn't be dating. That's all I'm saying. Don't date that dude. Don't date that girl. Yeah.
Del, you got somebody?
Oh man, I definitely. I'm trying to think of what the equivalent of not owning a suit is for women.
Brian Penny's
what is
don't
that?
match. But you wouldn't find out till afterwards. So never mind.
No, see that's where you're wrong. Now you went too far. When they don't, when the LeBron panties don't match, especially if the socks don't match for a bonus, you're in for a wild ride, sir.
Yes.
So
S&M?
I would just say that on the seriousness, I actually do believe that women with 3 or 4 baby daddies need to sit down and evaluate their lifestyle and determine what's causing their decision-making skills to be lacking in certain areas. Because after you have, and unless it's through like widowed or divorced or whatever the case may be, but there has to be, I think that's actually a legitimate reason not to be dating, because ma'am, you need to be celibate for a little while. And if you're not celibate, then I'm just going to need you to make better decisions. And that starts with making sure birth control or a condom's in place. And if you already got 3 or 4 kids, but I think that's just a more responsible thing to do, is that, just be more aware of your decisions. So I agree on the men and the women's side. That should be somebody who shouldn't be dated until they figure out what's leading them to these decisions that they're making and the people that they're deciding to lay down with.
Good call.
Now, this is not my personal opinion, but I have seen women with Nissan Altimas should not be dating. They make bad decisions.
Wow.
It's not my personal opinion. I'm just saying I've seen it. I've seen it. Don't come for me in the comments.
Damn it. And I just lost it that quickly. Oh, no. Okay. So what I was going to say was, it's like the second time it happened. So listen, I'm trying to be fair when I say this, right? I do think women should be able to date too, right? Like for real. Close to like how men should be able to date. Although if I'm being honest, the whole kid thing, I think is a bridge too far. I don't think a woman should date if she is pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Especially if she's showing pregnant. I don't think she should date.
I heard that was the best clue though.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I don't think she should date because it's not just her dating. You know what I'm saying? She's bringing a +1 to the date. Now, if a woman's by herself, she's like,
there's a +1,
not carrying life. Okay, cool, ma. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And frankly, let's be honest. Society is okay with women being far down badder. If that's probably not the way to say it, right? A chick could be living with her mama. You know what I'm saying? Have multiple baby daddies. You know what I'm saying?
And pregnant.
Shit. No, I'm saying I'm drawing the line at the pregnancy thing, but I'm saying also that I think women have more leeway to date. Like if you ask those same women to come up with a list of women who should not date, it wouldn't be nowhere near this, even if some of the same women face some of the same issues like multiple baby daddies. I think some of those same women would be hard pressed to put women who have multiple baby daddies should not vote. You know what I'm saying? I mean, should not date. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a double standard. I'm okay with that. And so with that being said, I stand on women who are pregnant should not date because it's not just you by yourself. Okay, moving right along. You know, that baby didn't ask to go on a date. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to evolve and come into the world with your fast ass.
Wow.
Last and finals. I mean, no wonder this is how we got here. Speaking of how we get here, how did we get here? Right? One of Black America in particular's favorite couple, apparently there was rumors of them being on the rocks, right? Apparently, I think it came from, there was Jimmy Carter's funeral that happened, there was Trump's inauguration that happened, and on both occasions, Michelle was not with Barack. I think a little bit before then, there might have been like some rumor that came out of nowhere about Jennifer Aniston and Barack having a fling. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, I forgot the lady's name whose podcast Michelle was on. She addressed the rumors about, the whole divorce situation. And she was saying, something, and I'm paraphrasing, go look it up. She was saying that, hey, I just had other things going on at the time, which is why I did not make those two events. And it was crazy how I guess a woman can't miss two events. And I guess people don't automatically assume there's trouble in her relationship, right? Or, and as far as divorce rumors. But to be fair, though, if I'm not mistaken, Barack also, I guess, was doing a podcast and was talking about it. And he kind of mentioned how, after the presidency and his presidency, that he had to spend a lot of time making up to Michelle because during the presidency, unfortunately, I guess, he wasn't there. He was out there doing the president thing. And so I guess people kind of felt like, okay, is there something going on? I'm not sure how much people are seeing them in public in general. I guess as a public couple, people might expect to see y'all together. So what are your thoughts? I mean, do you think that she adequately addressed the rumors? Do you think that the rumors were much to do about nothing? Could it be possible that things may not be going swimmingly in the Obama household? What are your thoughts about Black America's favorite presidential couple?
I think
Yeah,
it's a
I think it's
non-story.
more likely than not. It's a big to do about nothing. I mean, we've all had that, especially if you're married. We have to be two places at once. I don't know if it's a funeral and another life event, or a wedding or something, a recital. Like, I'll go here and represent us. You go over there and represent us, and it happens all the time. Yeah, death of Jimmy Carter, that's pretty big, and inauguration, that's pretty big too. But I think it's perfectly legit that it's more than likely a schedule conflict, and she had to go do her thing, and he had to go represent. And I'm pretty sure they've been in the public eye long enough. They're well aware of what it would look like. Oh, if it's just me, people are gonna talk, or just the optics of it. So I'm sure they had that discussion, and that was thought through. And like, look, we just can't make this work. I'm gonna go here, you go there, and it'll just be what it is. So to me, that's the more likely scenario. I haven't heard anything else about the whole Jennifer Aniston thing. I mean, possible, but it seemed like it's a dead thing because it's just been dropped. We haven't heard anything else about it, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think it's a story. I think it's a non-story trying to be a story. I think the absence of something is not proof that something was there before. You got to look at the fact that he's no longer president. So when you're president, yes, your wife is first lady and she's expected to be with you because everything you do is work. It's always state this, state that. So, everybody's got to show up for work. He's no longer president. He's a past president. He's off doing his retirement thing, whatever that is, and she's doing her retirement thing, whatever that is. And if you look at their relationship, she set out in the beginning saying she had a life that she wanted to lead that did not want to be disturbed by the attention and the demands and the scheduling of a presidency. She didn't want to compete with all of that. So now that they're no longer in the office, it's fair for her to be sometimes somewhere else doing her thing when it's not really his job to be in a place anyway. Right? So I don't think she's letting him down. I think she's being true to form. She's finally in a place where she can go off and do some Michelle stuff. You know what I mean? He can do his Barack stuff. When he needs her, I'm sure she'll be there. The fact that people think he can't go do something without her next to him is demeaning and emasculating. Let the man go. He can, if they're a power couple, they should be able to go do two different things at the same time. If they're a power couple, he's wasting Michelle by having her at his hip when she could be going off doing some things. if they're a power couple, if Michelle is who everybody says she is, and I'm not saying she's not, but I'm saying there's not a story here. There's no division. What you're seeing, hopefully, is a family that is also a political machine that is evolving so that they realize now that they can, like they did on the campaign trail, they can be in two different places and still be on the same page and still be enacting their plan as a family. So yeah, man, give them space. Give Michelle space. Did she answer the question right? I think she answered as well as she could. If she'd ignored it, people would have said it was a story. But she had to give it context. I think the timing of what Barack said just kind of fed the flames or whatever. But if you look at it, what he was talking about at the time wasn't even about that. He was saying, look, if you're going to have something outstanding in your life, if you're going to be amazing at something, something has to get sacrificed. And he said, look, you know what got sacrificed to be a great president? If you guys say I'm a great president, it was my relationship with my wife, because I couldn't be Mr. Barack Obama to her all the time because I had to be the president all the time or more. So I'm saying it's not a story, man. Y'all let them people breathe. People always trying to break up happy black homes over some BS. There's no story here. Go follow 600 Breezy.
Not 600 Breezy.
600 Breezy.
So I'm just going to, so for me, the first thing I do believe is a much ado about nothing. But what I wanted to highlight was the difference of some things. And so the first thing I would say is this, is that, damn, she can't have her own goddamn life. You know, she spent all this time standing by, supporting. She raised a family. And then, you know, her kids are now, she's an empty nester. The woman is like 60. And she still can't move independently. So you're telling me that just because she wanted to move independently from her husband, that now we got to start these rumors of divorce, you know, outside of seeing the fact that she missed 2 or 3 events. So all of a sudden it's like, oh, she need to be lockstep and key 24/7? Let the man breathe. Shit, let her breathe. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes absence make the heart grow fonder. Now, I will acknowledge Barack said apparently not, because he put her in a deficit. He was in a deficit with her. And that may have been the 8 years that he was the president. But he acknowledged that. He said, you know, I'm doing things to make it fun for her again. He said he's trying to make it fun for her, make marriage fun. And at some point, we all have to make marriage fun for our spouse. And at the same time, we need to recognize that we need autonomy as women, that there needs to be autonomy in the relationship as well. Because some of the things that happen is that women sometimes lose their identity when they get married. And can you imagine, you're the first lady, of course your identity is 100% wrapped up into your husband identity as the president, right? Unless you're a certain current, I'm sorry, let me not say that. And so in which case you just disappear into the wind because you don't give no fucks. But a good first lady, she going to be right there for him. So yeah, she was lockstep, and that could be exhausting for her. So she's taking the time to just focus on herself. She raised her kids. She was there for her husband during his pregnancy, whether she wanted to or not. She was there. And now she's like, give me my space, give me my time. There's things that I want to accomplish. And let's be honest, if not now, when? She's 60. So.
Ah, man, I'm trying to think. You said have a life, right? I was trying to think, like, so she had 2 dates. There's 365 days in a year. And so 2 of the biggest dates, yes, the inauguration is one of them. I mean, your husband did get inaugurated twice. And then Jimmy Carter, which I guess everybody beloved or whatever. And I guess you just had other things to do. You know, it's funny because I was trying to trade that day and the market even closed. Like, people were off from work that day. And so we're saying that, oh my God, to expect her to still to make a couple of dates is too much to ask. It means that she can't have her own life. Like, she wasn't also having her own life before, during, and after the presidency. And what exactly does that life look like? It's funny because she got time to make podcasts. That's how I saw one of the clips that she was on. You know what I'm saying? They out here signing $1 million deals, 9-figure deals, the Obamas are, in part because they were the former first family, right? So I get it. You know what I'm saying? In order to defend Michelle, we got to make it seem like we're asking her for too much. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't know that's the case. Now, if you're talking about people trying to discern if there's problems in their marriage, it's possible that maybe we weren't paying attention with the same lens that some of the people who are scrutinizing what could be going on, right? Because guess who else was there at these events? Every other nigga's wife was there. So if you're the one black president and your wife is not there, then yeah, people may start to have questions. Her resting bitch face doesn't help either because people can always assume she got a problem. Right? Come on, man. While she was sitting there chucking it up with fucking George Herbert Walker, whatever the fuck his name is, right? So miss me with this whole idea of is it got a life? You know, at first, listen, let's be clear, right? When the president of Barack Obama and Michelle and those two young, lovely ladies stood on that stage, we loved them. They were black. They instantly accomplished. So there's no question. Like for me, I'm like, damn, Michelle holding him down. Strong black women. I'm not one of these niggas who got a problem with strong black women. So let's be clear. Because even the strongest black women get soft for a nigga, you dig what I'm saying? But the point is, I like that about her. Her strong jawline told me she could take a punch. Metaphorically is what I'm saying, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. It was all love. But sometimes when you look back with a second lens, you start to pick up on some things and you're like, hold up, wait a minute, right? Right? So, and that's why I'm like, there's a trope, right? No, I'm not even gonna go trope. I'm trying to just, because y'all all was sitting here, oh my God, yes, she got her own life. But what if it's possible there are issues there in the relationship? Right? What if when Barack was saying, hey, I'm in a deficit, is because even right now, he feels like he is climbing himself out of a hole with his wife. Life is a journey up and down, bro. You sign up for the whole thing. I still got to pay you back for being president of the United States? I don't know. Maybe I hear things differently. That tells me you still holding some stuff, babe. We talked about this. And I was successful, and now I got to pay for the success that I had. That tells me she wasn't really down. Oh, wait, you know who told me that? She did. But I overlooked it because I was like, oh my God, Michelle. But now, once you know, it's like when the kids are grown and you start to look at the parents and see that they're moving differently. All that time, they were sitting there keeping it together for the kids. And then the kids leave and you start to see the shit for real, for real. So yeah, I get it. So maybe it's not enough information, but that there's not some information for people to guess whether or not there's marital issues because people are paying attention. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at the body movement. She didn't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine what it was like? You out there saving the world and you come home and you got to still deal with a fucking attitude? You know what I'm saying? It made me realize how important it is that men who have purpose, because we can't pretend like a dude who was a Harvard Law Review from his background didn't have some level of purpose in his life. She knew that when she met the nigga. And then gonna resent him for him living in his purpose? And then now in his twilight years, you mentioned she's 60. Why the fuck does he have to continue to pay in the twilight of his years for reaching his purpose?
So first,
I'm not done.
Sir,
you know what I'm saying?
I was rhetorical. My fault.
I mean, yeah, it was rhetorical.
Go ahead, then, since it was rhetorical.
I'm saying suppose that she does have an issue. I get neglect. I get certain things. People, military, have jobs that take them out of the home. It wasn't like he was at home playing video games. You knew what time it was, the job that he was signing up for, the mission that he had. He was cool when he was a community organizer. He was probably outside a lot too, didn't come with a lot of pay. But then all of a sudden, when that community organizers allowed him to help organize in the community in a larger fashion, now it's a problem? She had her mom there too. It wasn't like she didn't have some support. So I'm not even saying, it's not like she's like a single mom or a married woman who got to be at home taking care of things by herself. No, she had a whole fucking staff. Come on, man. If I come home from fucking saving the world, when I get there, all I need is about a good 15 minutes, man. Don't be giving me no bullshit because you want to give me attitude. I'm over here talking to Ching Nang Yong trying to save some fucking trade deal and you pissed. I'm 15 minutes late. She looked like she was giving that nigga hell. You know what I'm saying? Low key. And then it hit me. Because when the nigga got purpose in his life, can you imagine how much greater of a president he would have been if Michelle Reed supported him for real, for real? Because if she did, what would she resent? What would be there to resent? Oh my God, honey, we did our big one. We helped save the world. Let's ride out in the sunset together. I love you. Oh my God, our kids are leaving. It's a great time. Why the fuck is she still scowling? And why does Barack have to pay for it? Because he wanted to help change the world for the better. Fellas, when you pick your queen, make sure she understands your purpose is paramount. if she can't celebrate your wins, if she can't take sacrifices and make sacrifices for you to reach your fucking purpose and pretend to do so, you might still end up having to pay for it on the back end. And that's what's happening to Baraka back then and right now, man. Stop playing.
You making a whole bunch of assumptions. Let me just go ahead and say what I was going to say when you was making asking your rhetorical questions and whatnot. That didn't sound so rhetorical to me. You making a bunch of assumptions in regards to what their relationship was like. Now, I will acknowledge that she did herself acknowledge that she had a conversation with him about why she was not comfortable with him becoming the president or running for office. But that's a conversation that you should have had with your wife. Anyway,
he did.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And so with her expressing, so what you're doing is penalizing for her expressing her trepidation for the amount of scrutiny and so forth. That's what it sounds like. You're making a whole lot of assumptions.
Listen, did you read her autobiography?
No, sir. But I did read I did hear the interview that you did.
This, right? What I'm saying is, right, forget me for a second. There are people who probably have more information, right? Yes or no? And that's rhetorical. And so those people are gathering different pieces of them living more in the public light, communicating what's going on with them. You're seeing how they move. You're seeing certain things. So I don't think this is coming out of whole cloth. You get what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I don't. And we know it's a thing when couples get older, mature, kids leave the home. And we also don't think about the impact of even the presidency itself, right? That's a big thing. So I'm not even knocking if it does actually develop into a divorce, because honestly, I would still think their marriage was a success. I'm not one of those people who feel like because you got divorced, you should have never got married. No, I think sometimes, maybe relationships don't work out. And I would not take away from what they did necessarily in terms of their time. But if they decided as two adults to move on because it's no longer working for them, I don't want them staying together for my sake or for some sake of what it looks like. If y'all are not happy, don't be happy. But we can't also pretend like there's already conversations about men living in their purpose, or about how women leave relationships when they're not happy, or the sacrifices that men make in terms of not only trying to take care of the home, but also to provide outside the home. Or, you know what I'm saying? These are all things that are legitimate. So even if we were to move Barack and Michelle to the side, I think to me, there's enough evidence there to where I could see there being an issue. Right? Because again, I get if you're a romantic dude, you're like, yo, man, I wasn't able to spend time. I get it. Barack's probably on that type of time 100%. Right? But I'm saying to you that I think people are seeing things, and it would not surprise me if more were to come down the pike. And then when we have this or if we were to have this conversation again, I'm telling you that I think sometimes when you're a man living in purpose, it becomes very difficult because yes, that woman that you talked to in the beginning was down, but things change and she wants different things. So now you got to sit there. Luckily, you didn't have to choose between his purpose. But then once you get into the position and you're doing the best that you can, and you know what you signed up for. So then after that, I got to sit there and make it up to you to a certain extent, or you got attitude like, bro, and I'm going to be honest. If I had those 2 dates, I'm expecting my wife to be there. What the fuck else do you have to do, boo? Or am I going to be cool with you doing it, right? Because I feel like I owe you. That nigga going to be living in like fucking, servitude forever if that's the mindset that's going to be in the situation. Because guess what? There are a lot of niggas, even presidents too, who are sitting there living in lives like that. You know what I'm saying? We got to be honest, yo. Shit happens, even if it's not necessarily happening to them. But guys who signed up for the program, had the conversations, out there living their purpose, doing whatever, and then she decides, oh, maybe it's too much or whatever, or maybe it's a lot, and then want to sit there and make him pay for it for the rest of his life. Man, fuck that. Fuck that. He's old too. And he deserves some fucking happiness.
I still think you're making some assumptions though, but that's cool because that's what we're here for. We're here to put our opinions out in the ether and whatnot and get it all off. So I understand why you're making these, because all relationships, as you pointed out, in as part of your assumptions, but this part is true. All relationships have their ups and downs, right? All relationships have ebbs and flows. There may be times where she was deficit, he was in deficit. I think the fact that he used the term deficit may be slightly telling because he used the term deficit to describe why he feel like he has to make things up to her. But at the same time,
very precisely his words.
But at the same time, I also feel like you are using some anti-blackness on here too. I'm gonna tell you why though.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because you talked about her resting bitch face and attitude multiple times because to me, it just correlated to a black woman automatically meant she had attitude when she got back. She had her resting bitch face automatically equate to her having attitude when sometimes that could just be how a sister face is. sometimes that's just how a face is. Some Black women have resting bitch face, period. And so, but we automatically equate that to attitude because that's what we associate with Black women in general. So, in addition to your assumptions, I was like, yo, this sounds like some of these tropes that you say you was going to throw out, but you technically low key throwing that trope out about the angry Black woman because that's what that rests with, right? With the attitude and the resting bitch face. So, I acknowledge that you are correct. There are some things that we're not seeing. And I will also acknowledge that there are some wordplay, i.e. the use of deficit, which can speak to his point of view where he's making something up because he's in the hole with her, right? But I also will say that at the end of the day, she got to live her own life still. I still rest on the fact that I think that sometimes people have a problem with her being independent now that she's no longer the first lady. So there's a problem with her being independent. I don't hear nobody talking about, what's her name? Melena, and the fact that she hardly ever show up. And when she do show up, she flipping her husband's hand like, or she walking ahead of him. I'm just saying, like, there's other things, and I think that this is being blown out of proportion. Now, if they end up getting divorced, then I will agree as well that this was a great relationship. I think they've been married for like 33 years or something like that. And so I will agree with that. But I also think that right now we're just jumping to too many conclusions for her not attending an event. And I had a friend tell me that life is too short to go to shit I don't want to go to and hang with people I don't want to hang with. And she said this because I invited her to some place with some people who she did not like. And I was like, well, you're just coming to be with me and hang out with me. And she said, yeah, but you're hanging out with people who I don't like. Life is too short. And that's what she told me. Life is too short to do shit you don't want to do or hang with people you don't like. And let's be honest, that's exactly what she would have been doing.
That's a bad example, S&M. That's a bad example.
Well, you're saying it's a bad example because I used a friend versus husband and wife.
Thank you. Come on, man. Stop playing. You've been to stuff probably recently with your husband that he didn't want to go to because he was your husband. You went to it, or vice versa. Men do that shit all the time. And I'm sorry. Listen, let me move you aside because you're not a man. And I guess I get it. No, for real. Like listen, I play the deference game. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my wife, you know what I'm saying? You know, she rules my universe and all that other kind of shit, right? There's some niggas who do that and they really be on that type of time. And there's some niggas who do it because it's part of the game, right? Like, you know, Steph Curry might say, yeah, you know what, God gave me these skills, you was my teammates. But the truth is, he's the one that went out there and scored 57 fucking points, okay? Right? So what I'm saying is, I could look at Barack and tell you he's a ladder. So when he was actually saying it, right, it was some truth to it. I can see that type of behavior. It wasn't just him, you know, just being cute. No. Going into it, he was paying for that deficit from jump. You know what I'm saying? From jump. And he's still paying it is what I'm saying. You dig what I'm saying? There's some guys who say it and that's what it is. There's some guys who say that's not really what it is. They're just giving it the little proper due and respect. And I'm telling you, from what I could tell, he's further. So what I'm willing to probably put a stake on though, is that she still feels some type of way about all that and he is still having to deal with it. I'd put money on that. Now, the level of which they're dealing with it, whether it's divorce or otherwise, it remains to be seen. But I just feel like y'all, we're in a new age, y'all. Things are changing and evolving. More people are getting divorced as they go along. They're not staying together just because they have to be together anymore. So I would not be surprised if more is revealed. And if it does get revealed that she, in fact, or they do get, in fact, divorced, then I want y'all to be like, you know what? Not that I was wrong. I want you to say, Nick, you was right. You know what I'm saying? We'll never know necessarily the reason, right? Because there's a difference between admitting that you're wrong and admitting that I'm right. And as much as I appreciate a person taking accountability for being wrong, I think I like being right a little bit better. It could be like a sandwich of both of those things. I wish them the best because low-key, I fuck with both of them. But honestly, though, and S&M, to push back on your last point, it's resting. I think somebody was saying something about a statistic about how resting bitch face affects people's health and shit like that. You dig what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, it's possible she actually could feel upset about a thing and her face betrayed her. It's completely possible. This idea of leaning on anytime a nigga say something that might be specific about a person. I didn't say all Black women, but I'm identifying that every time I've seen what was a scowl on her face, I thought to myself, she's mad. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't help that while she was the first lady, there was a lot for her to probably feel upset about. People were talking about her hair, her arms, and how she was wearing her clothes. So I get that. You dig what I'm saying? And listen, my wife has a face that sometimes causes me to ask her, is she okay? You know what I'm saying? But the truth is, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be real vulnerable. Like sometimes when her mood is shifting, the reason why I ask her, is she all right, is because my mood has shifted. Like she has the ability to shift my mood. So I tap in with her to see if she's all right. Because if she's not all right, then my whole brain is going to switch up a little bit, right? The other day she called me, hey, can you come outside? I'm thinking something is up. So I have a certain level of reception with her, right? So what I'm saying is that y'all discount how certain things affect us. And sometimes, especially, God bless that it's just a face thing and not like a woman thing, right? But those types of things affect us men. Maybe it's just me. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't take for granted the level of how lack of support shows itself and how it can grate over time. Especially when you juxtapose that with what would seem as a noble thing, which is to want to be president of the United States. Not only that, but the first Black president of the United States. Not only that, but somebody who's been trying to make a difference from day one. So how are you holding that thing in any way, shape, or form, even a little bit? Because maybe you didn't know the nigga that you married. That's Barry Hussein Obama that you married. And this many years later, you still tripping? All right, y'all, y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? I do think she's still tripping. I'll stand on that one. 1,000%. Yeah. And while she's trying to do some face exercises, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta live like that. You don't gotta live like that. Try smiling a little bit more. That's right, and Nick said it. Any last words before
You know,
this
this my
else?
last word. This my last word. You know, a lot of women, we actually get upset when people tell us to smile more.
We
You know
can't
what I'm
win.
saying?
We call out the rest of bitch face. We problem solvers and solutions oriented. And now
No, it's because you're basically this because there's an expectation for women in general to be smiley, to be this jovial person.
Pleasant.
And so that's where that originates. But anyways, moving on. Jay, I saw you pop off mic. Let's go ahead and pass it to you, sir.
No, man. No. I can't follow all of that. Was a lot. That was a lot. I will just say, yeah, I like Michelle. She all right. But you know, your choice of mate is either going to propel you toward where you're trying to go, or it's going to be the thing that holds you back, right? Which is why I am cautious about the dating and the marrying. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but timing is important. So all I'm saying is, I can't argue with Nick and his argument about purpose. I don't know if Michelle's holding him back. There's a lot of supposition in his whole argument, right? They might end up divorced. Honestly, by the time he finished talking, I was like, shit, maybe they are getting divorced because, he probably made a deal in Chicago that got him elected and she know about it. I got a whole novel I wrote in my head. So maybe, I don't know. But what I do know is this. I know it's not over until they say it's over. So everybody who believes in love and marriage and believes in them as a couple or them as individuals, right, should hopefully be pushing a narrative of unity and strength for the people that you believe in. Yeah.
Listen, man, I love and marriage, but I don't want people staying in marriages just for the fuck of it. At 33 years, they already got a W as far as I'm concerned. And if it's time,
that's a win.
And if it's time for them to move apart, like they had the kids and then became president, I am not mad at that. I'm not wishing for it, okay? But I just don't think people should necessarily stay in relationships after they already got the W just for the sake of staying in there. And you got to imagine, like, how many other presidents have been divorced? Have there been like other presidents, like past presidents or otherwise? I feel like has there been any of them?
I can't think of one.
Like at least in recent times, right? I mean, Hillary and still them stay together. He got some head and she ain't going nowhere, right? Barack can't even get no head, right? But he's just
about her
anyways.
Man. Huh? She stood by her man.
She was standing by her goals, right? Hillary Clinton had purpose. Stop playing, okay?
Woman of purpose.
And Bill understood the assignment, kinda. He followed. Because he was tripping when he got caught with the whole head thing and leaving nut stains everywhere. But it's like, come on, fam. The presidential napkins are right.
It's presidential towel. It's just lazy, sir.
The presidential baby wipes with the seal and everything, sir. They were right there. All you had to do was wipe off. Oh, and one last thing, though. Do y'all think that the Obamas are like any different than any other celebrity that people guesstimate or question whether or not they're in a relationship still? Like, doesn't this typically happen with almost every other celebrity? Like, aren't they still technically celebrities? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so why should it not happen to them? Right? If they profiting from their celebrity, then they got to deal with the backlash or the rumors that come with it.
Unfortunately.
You know what I'm saying? And the one telling sign to me, and I don't know that I like that Michelle did this though, which is also why I feel like there's more to it, and I'll land with this as far as the story, then we can wrap up. But when she was telling, like, there are some times that it's not about, a woman's representation. I get that. Maybe that's your bag all the time. But maybe it was simply, hey, this was an event that people expected the president and their wife to show up at. And when you did not show up at the event, it raised questions. Because guess what? You were at almost all the other events. It could be that simple. But when she did that, though, I kind of felt like, I get it, but it could have just been like a little red herring to kind of throw the conversation, because I don't know, how in depth she was going to allow the conversation to go. But it's easy to talk about how there's different expectations. Okay, in this case, you was the first lady. So yeah, your expectations in that description is going to show up differently, right? But if you're talking about women in general, it is a broader conversation to be had. But I think she tried to pull a rabbit out of her wahoo, and I'm going to say no to that. I'm going to say no. Like, woo, feminism. Oh yeah, well, what else? Racism. Whatever. She was just pulling all kinds of tricks out of her bag. Listen, man, we that offended enough people. We have final thoughts. Season 5 premiere episode. Pew, pew, pew. Final thoughts before I get them out of here, SNL.
I would say that you have left me speechless. And so I'm just going to say, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, share, engage, and make sure you check out the BLC merch. And more importantly, please leave us comments, because you know what? At this point, I don't know who had exhibit. You know what? I was going to say some words, but I'm going to pull it back because I don't want to start nothing with the panel. So I'm just going to say, I would love to hear your thoughts, because Nick is right about one thing, and that's purpose. And that's have purpose in everything that you do. And if you are a person who have a purpose in life, then make sure you have somebody who's going to support you in that purpose, to include if your purpose had a child, includes a child, and you may need that person. Let me not go there. I was just going to say, you may have to give the peen up to make sure you stay in your purpose. But anyway, the moral of the story, though, but legitimately, it's good to have somebody in your corner. In the words that we hear all the time, choose better. And that's what I'm going to land with.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Choose better. And if you choose the president, don't hold it against him. I mean, that's a full-time job. You know what? We all learn choose better if you want to, be the first lady, picking your baby mama, baby daddy. And if you're going to date, pick better for yourself, get yourself together, and be the best version of yourself. And I think that's, kind of what everything's all about. That's the thing today. That's what my takeaway. I'm going to leave here and go be a better version of myself right now. So, you know what? And I'm going to be a better version of myself for season 2. Season 5, episode 2. Yes. I'm ready for it. Yeah, that's my final thought.
Yeah, Jay, did you go?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Look, I don't know. I think I kind of recapped my closing in the last thing I said before. So
my bad. I'll give you a second helping.
I did a premature closing. So sorry.
Is this a normal closing? Is this a normal thing?
Is that what they call it?
This never happens to me normally.
There's a pill for that.
Well, listen, man. This has been, that's hilarious. Oh, this has been great. I've had fun. I could tell how much fun I had, by how much I sweat, laughed, had a little bit of a cough, man, but I worked myself through it. I do love what Delvin said, right, in terms of choosing better. Because I think Barack could have chose better. But listen, like
on the way out.
No, I mean, I was just saying, this is rhetorical because you guys don't have to answer this, but between the two of them, who do you think was the prize? Right? Because, like, I was talking to my wife earlier, and I'm like, is there any question that Barack was the prize? Like, if you had, like, forget, like, life accomplishments. They both got education, right? Life accomplishments, and then you might have aesthetics. Should I stop there or keep going? Like, I want men, and this is going to be a recurring theme. If Barack Obama can't claim that he's the prize, then who can? right?
point.
Right? I mean, the fucking president, and it wasn't like the brother was smooth too. I mean, he was, he had the little, and he's smart. Come on, man. If Barack Obama, if we can't sit here and be like, yeah, Barack, yeah, he was the prize. And notice I said the prize. You know what I'm saying? Because I sincerely believe Barack would have been president without Michelle. As long as he didn't date that white girl, he was going to be good. Any sister who had a decent education, he would have been all right. So, fellas, I agree with Delvin. Choose better. You know what I'm saying? Choose women who align with your purpose. I knew where he got messed up at, right? Because there was a girl that I was dating in college, right? Really smart. She was going to probably be like a senator or some shit like that. And we both were ambitious. And I realized this shit's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need some yin to my yang. You dig what I'm saying? I think Barack was like, oh my God, she's really smart. And he fell for that. And he wasn't quite looking for the other areas, but it's okay. Nonetheless, kudos to him. Because how amazing does he have to be to still have reached his purpose, carrying that extra weight with him? Kudos to Barack, and kudos to all the men out there who, despite the challenges, both inside the home and outside the home, who push towards their purpose and make it happen regardless. We, on behalf of the BLC Pod, salute you. We salute you and everybody who tapped in on this episode. Like, subscribe, follow, all that. We'll see y'all next time. Check out the merch. Michelle, we love you. BC.
Pew, 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 pew.